around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. Yeah,
get your boots ready. We're about to go on a trip where we wrestle, nobody settling or calling it quits. You're here for the grit, betcha this stuff is amazing. You're stumbling? Welcome to the bump in the apron. Step into it, the hardest part of the ring. Here to bring fun, yeah, in this art he's king. It's the best thing, making sure you don't tap out. Don't go soft with the hardest podcast out. And it's not just another one, it's clear. Off the rest, in this content, none contest. Take the nonsense off the steps. You know it's nothing but pure gems when it's coming off the chest. Get it? Now it's time to sit and relax. Get your mind blown away, ain't no skipping a track. Have you paying more attention, no listening gap. Get everything I ever wanted, no giving it back. Yeah.
Ooh, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Apron Bump. I'm your host, the hardest part of the ring, also known as Kyle, and hot diggity dog, we have something special today, huh? We're gonna face the heat today, folks. Summerslam 1995. Man, the absolute state of wrestling in the late summer of 95 here. I mean, if you caught my episode last week, WCW Fall Brawl 1995. Oh God, we have the Dungeon of Doom running wild. We got people running over each other with monster trucks. We got army men rappelling from the ceiling and choking each other to death. We got Johnny B. Bad in blackface. I mean, there's what's WCW doing? Then you got ECW. You got crackhead Sandmen just leaping over top ropes with Singapore canes. You got Tommy Dreamer pile driving women. You got New Jack running around with a croquet mallet. And now we're here in WWF. And things aren't much better. Just a, like when you take a shit sometimes, like no shits are good, right? I mean, I'm not kink shaming here. But let's assuming you're the general public and you probably don't like it, right? You're probably not a big fan of the smell, the taste probably turns you off a bit. So it's all bad, right? But there's different flavors of shit. I mean, scents, flavors. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't eat shit. I know it's really coming off like I eat shit. I don't eat shit. Not for breakfast either. But what was I talking about? Oh, so I'm comparing wrestling to shit, right? Yeah, ECW is like that. It's like when you're hungover. It's like a hungover shit, right? You drank a lot the night before. You probably had some fast food at 2 a.m. You were munching down on Fritos all night. No, Fritos. Just thinking of the stupidest snack I could think of. So you're hungover and it's like your asshole just opens up and it just falls out and it just smells horrendous. And you got WCW is kind of like a cakey, like it's like not a lot of shit, but it just takes forever to come out. You know what I mean? It's like one of those really gummy shits. And I guess you have to like wipe a lot too, but it's like not a lot. So you're not even proud of it. You don't really feel better. And you got WWF. It's like one of those shits that come out like on accident, like when you cough too hard or you maybe watch a scary movie, or maybe your pet iguana, is around the corner and you don't expect them and you're like, oh God, and then like a little nugget falls out. That's kind of what WWF is here. So it's like what I'm saying, wrestling's wrestling, shit, but there's like different kinds of shit, and some people like different shit on their chest, and it's fine. You don't really need to shame them for it. So it's a new generation, folks. Getting back on track here. It's a new generation, and it's very much the epitome of it. When I say the epitome of the new generation, I mean for better and worse. WWF is trying new things, and we talk a lot about that in the episode itself. Some things are good, some things are bad, some things are like not good now, but are gonna be good. That's kind of the general theme of this show. And honestly, SummerSlam 95, I came into the show with a low bar, a very low bar. I would say it exceeded my expectations. The wrestling on the show is honestly not bad at all. There are quite a bit. I would go as far to say it's very good, especially for the time period. But you could very much tell there's not a lot of hot angles. There's not a lot of hot characters. Not a lot of momentum for the WWF, but you can see the talent there, especially in hindsight. You can see the talent is there, and you can see them trying these new things like I'm sorry, Hunter Hearst Helmsley in his debut pay-per-view match against Thurman Buttplug Holly. Solid wrestling match, but who gives a shit at the end of the day? You got Hakushi versus 1-2-3 Kid again. Two like very ahead of their time wrestlers, very fun to watch. Had a banger of the match on the show. The crowd was really into it, actually. But in the long term, where are these guys going? Are these guys, fighting for the world? Like, they're just kind of wrestling on the show. They're in there at an opener, and like I said, the crowd loved it, so I'm not shitting on it. There's a lot of shit talk on this intro here. You got like the match with the most build on the entire show is Barry Horowitz versus Skip, aka Chris Candido. We'll see a little bit more of him in my ECW rewatch or watch in the next couple of years. Speaking of ECW, we got Shane Douglas. Come on now. Finally. He's been just toiling. He's just been just pulling his pud in ECW for so long. Now he's here. Now we got Dean Douglas in the World Wrestling Federation. And he's not wrestling, because why would he wrestle on a wrestling show? But on this show, he is critiquing the matches. You see, because he's a teacher. It's Dean. Dean Douglas is his name. So that's fun. But like I said, for better or worse, they're trying new things. You see a lot of new characters on this show that we haven't seen before. And some pan out, some don't. But, the new things, that's not, specific to different people used. We also see different innovations utilized, namely the ladder match, which we saw at WrestleMania 10, at least their first televised ladder match. We get the rematch here. So some people might not even know they had a rematch. I probably learned about it kind of recently, maybe in the last few years, that they had a second one here at SummerSlam 95. And it was a damn good match, if I do say so myself. And would be remiss if I didn't, give my T's and P's to the family of Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, who passed away as of recording this a few weeks before this. Very, very sad, of course. Much love to Scott Hall and all of his loved ones, but very happy to be able to watch one of his legendary matches. Some people this might be a lot of people's favorite Razor Ramon match out there. So I was very, very happy to take a look at that with the recent passing of Mr. Hall there. So we got that. That's a diamond in the rough on this show, because the headline match is for the WWF Championship. We got Diesel, the champion, defending against King Mabel. Oh, man. Lots to get into there. Basically, what I'm saying is that, I went into this with low expectations. It exceeded my expectations, but there's still a lot of shit. But also a lot of good stuff. But we'll get into that. And I will get into that with my guest, Nick, from the Universal Wrestling Podcast. check out Nick's podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube, which he'll be starting up very shortly. The Universal Wrestling Podcast. Nick talks about lots of current day topics in wrestling. He has various guests on his show as well. He's starting to delve into the interview segment as well. He had JBL on recently. He's going to be having on Jeff Jarrett here shortly. So big things happening for the Universal Wrestling Podcast. And now's the time to jump on that train. Like I said, wherever you listen to podcasts, all of his info is in the description below. Go give him a listen. Go give him a titty lick. Whatever how you give your support to your favorite podcasters, go do that. But if you like this kind of episode, you're very interested in this time period, mid-90s, new generation, go to apronbump.com. You can find all of my full episodes there, but you can also filter to any era or promotion of your choosing. So you can go to the episodes tab at the top at apronbump.com. And you could select New Generation Era, and that'll bring you to all of the mid-90s WWF pay-per-views that I have reviewed so far, starting all the way back at WrestleMania 10, and every show up until now I've covered. You can also select Wrestling Wars of the 90s, and that'll bring you to all of not only the WWF mid-90s, but WCW and ECW, all chronologically covered, again, starting from mid-94. So go check that out. All my episodes are there. All my social media is there. Description, etc., etc. Let's just quit the malarkey and get into it, huh? WWF SummerSlam 1995 with myself and Nick from the Universal Wrestling Podcast. There he is.
All right. I think we're good. Usually, when I reset it, it works out. So let's give it a
blow into it.
Yeah, and see what happens.
Lube it up a little bit, blow into it, stick it back in, the usual.
Yep.
All right. So where were we?
Let's reset.
Let's reset. So Bertha Faye was a sexy bitch, like we were saying. Fuck, kill, marry, but with just those two ladies, who do you got? And you have to do two. You have to do two to one of them.
All right, Blaze. I guess F and Mary, and then sorry, Bertha.
Oh man,
see ya. She's probably a nice lady, but hey, I'm married. That's my excuse.
I thought you were gonna fucking then kill Bertha personally, but man, you zigged when I thought you were gonna zag. So, but yeah, like I was about to ask you, are you ready to face the heat?
Let's do it, dude.
It's the tagline of SummerSlam. Did you think that was good?
Yeah. Very clever there.
The year before, it's so hot, it's scary. They had really good taglines back then.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
It's not as bad as Biggest Party of the Summer or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Great Balls of Fire. But, so the show opens up and cuts to the commentators and all that. You have your video packages, and Dean Douglas is here. You familiar with old Shane Douglas?
Oh, yeah, Shane, but not this character.
Oh, okay. What are your thoughts on, I guess, the guy in general from what you've seen?
Yeah, from this specific pay-per-view, I thought it was odd. I feel like it was kind of like a host, but not really a host. I feel like they were trying to get him over as much as possible with a shitty gimmick. So, I mean, he did. If, the gimmick was what it was, he did a good job. But it wasn't over for me, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah, it just feels so random.
Yeah.
Because, like, Shane Douglas, I don't know if you've seen his work in, like, ECW or wherever, but, he's, very influenced by Ric Flair and guys like that. He was kind of like a Kmart version of Ric Flair in a lot of ways, but he had charisma. He was a great talker.
Yeah, he was tough, too. So this was
decent in the ring.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's make you a teacher. Here's a chalkboard. Go have fun. Like, what? But yeah, he's here. He's going to be critiquing the matches tonight. Which is what everybody paid to see. So glad to have old Deanie boy here.
Had a lot of work for him this pay-per-view.
Yeah. But the opening match here, we got Hakushi versus the 1-2-3 Kid. This is a great opening match. I really enjoy this one. What about you?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Rey Mysterio. Put him on first, and you're going to have a banger here with 1-2-3 Kid. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, I did not know his opponent. I mean, yeah, he's good in the ring. He's probably a legend in Japan or somewhere like that. But it was a really good match. It was probably, to be honest, the best match of the night.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty short, but I mean, per minute, I could see that. Yeah, Hakushi, he was with the WWF for a little bit.
Okay.
Never really reached
New Japan?
great heights.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he might have been, I don't know really what he did outside of WWF, to be honest.
Pay-per-view.
But yeah, well, no, he came in earlier in the year and had a whole program with Bret Hart, and then he had a match with Bret Hart. Like he came in with a big spotlight on him, and I mean he's on a pay-per-view here, so he's a kind of a big deal at this point, but he kind of just fades off for whatever reason. I guess maybe the language barrier or
something.
Yeah,
that was kind of Bret Hart's year. Not like it was his great year, but that was how his year was going, you know? We'll get to that, but I guess just the wrestling world in general in 95, but yeah, good first match.
Yeah, Bret Hart did face a lot of Isaac Yankums in 1995, to say the least.
Yeah.
But that's foreshadowing. But yeah, we got the modern day kamikaze out here versus X-Pac. And yeah, a lot of fun chain wrestling in this match. Like a lot of stuff very ahead of its time, I think.
Yes.
I saw, because I've seen Hakushi wrestle before. I know he could do like springboards and stuff like that, but he busts out like a Will Ospreay handspring moonsault over the top rope to the floor. Like, man, I was not expecting this when I turned on 1995 SummerSlam. And then you got 1-2-3 Kid, who is great as always, and like it's a perfect opening match to get the crowd hot.
Yeah.
The crowd was definitely hot for it. They were into it seemed like every movement these guys did, they were into, which is fun. But ultimately, Hakushi, he counters. It's a 1-2-3 Kid. He goes for a spinning heel kick, but Hakushi catches him and hits him with a power bomb for the win. And so Hakushi gets to win here. But like I said, like I don't really know what happens with him after that. Like I said, he didn't really reach much more than this, I don't think. But
yeah, and you brought it up too. The crowd just seemed like it was in it. Every match, the crowd just, I don't know, it was like a WrestleMania. As bad as this pay-per-view was, it was, you know, the crowd helps, and I think the crowd helped with his pay-per-view.
Yeah, like for matches that didn't seem to deserve reaction, they gave it.
You deserve it.
Yeah, but after that, we got Doc Hendricks backstage, otherwise known as Michael P.S. Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
So what were your thoughts on Doc Hendricks and his speaking abilities, I guess, on the show?
It's good. He's a good speaker, but for this position, this part, it seemed a little, I don't know, too into it. I don't think you would want a person backstage like who's doing it nowadays. I don't even know them, but
the Irish.
Who?
Cunt. What's that Irish asshole's name?
Oh, Patrick. Patrick. Yes, something Patrick. Sure. He's good because he's not so crazy. He's not like a superstar. Like you can see Michael P.S. Hayes, Doc. You know, it's in his blood. He loves what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He is a superstar wrestler, manager, whatever you want to call it. He has it in his blood. He's very, you know, he is what you want a superstar to be. But for someone backstage, you want them to answer the questions or ask the questions and have them answer, you know, the superstars answer it, you know, in their ability. Don't take it away from that superstar. I'm going on and on. I like Michael P.S. Hayes, but I just think it's a little odd.
Trying too hard to get himself over.
Thank you.
When the goal is to get the guy over, not yourself. And it's funny. We were just talking about Dean Douglas, but Shane Douglas actually was a interviewer in TNA for a little bit, and he would do the exact same shit. He would be like, he'd be like so animated.
Yeah.
And I talk about it all the time on my podcast. People are probably annoyed me talking about it, but Michael P.S. Hayes is the exact same thing here. He's just way too excited.
Too much charisma for a backstage, you know, announcer.
Well, look, when you're interviewing Mabel, maybe you got to compensate.
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, he's decently charismatic. I'm not gonna shit on Mabel too much until the match.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. But yeah, Mabel, he calls Diesel Big Daddy Fool.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yep.
20 years later. Or 15, whatever.
Yep. So we got that to look forward to in the main event. But before that, we got to get ready to start our engines for this next match. Thurman Sparkplug Holly versus at least on pay-per-view, a debuting Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yes, sir.
Whatever happened to this guy?
Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah. Two very prominent Attitude Era figures.
Yes.
In their own way, and a completely different era.
Yeah.
What do you think of these iterations of both these guys' characters here?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the time was still a little out there, still a little too much of a character, as in like Sparkplug. Like, why? I understand why they did it, but it's just
He's
just
a race
bring
car
him
driver.
in, make him Bob Holly and let him get over. But no, they had to add things like this, Sparkplug and Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I mean, it just, obviously, in my opinion, they're both legends, and I feel like it was an interesting match. It wasn't a good match, and I thought it would be, but then again, this is Triple H's first pay-per-view. He's probably, butterflies in his stomach, and then Hardcore, aka Sparkplug, whatever. I don't know, man. He looked weird, but
it's funny to see Bob Holly as like a white meat babyface.
yes, I think that's it. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, they're just trying to get over. They're trying to, become who they are now. So, I wouldn't even say it was a decent match. It was an okay match.
Yeah, it was fine. It's funny to see, because like you said, both these guys today are legends in their own right.
Yeah.
And it's funny to see them in their early stages, because it's like simple things like running the ropes, and there's like little mistimings here and there that you could see that they're very green, or like decently green at least at this point. It's funny to see these early stages when nowadays they're the most crisp and all that stuff. But yeah, like, it's a decent match. It wasn't too long.
No,
I thought it was pretty dense with action, whereas some matches can just be like, okay, let's headlock for 99% of it, and then we'll go to the finish. But this one was entertaining at least.
Yeah, I agree.
But man, the commentary banter was on a whole different level in this match. I don't know if you caught it, but so Jerry King Lawler, he says he doesn't see the big deal about race car drivers, that being Thurman, Sparkplug Holly.
Yeah.
King, he's like, anybody could sit in a car and turn left for 500 miles. And then we got a zinger here from Vince. Vince is like, I'd love to see you do it. I'd love to see you in a go-kart.
Jesus.
What's that even mean?
Yeah.
Is that like an insult?
No, he just thinks it's funny.
Vince was a little bit off his game here tonight. But.
Yeah. It seemed like, and Jerry too, when we get to the women's match, I have a few things to say, but it just seemed like they're just, I don't know. It wasn't a connection. I guess that's why the next Summerslam, it was, I think Jim Ross was there too. So I think they knew something was up here, because I was watching 95 out, I worked from home and I was watching 95, and 96 came on after, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. The little things you pick up, whatever that means. But yeah, the commentary was just odd throughout the whole entire pay-per-view. And then when Lawler goes in the back because he just had his thing, we'll get to that. I don't want to, ruin the surprise. But then you have our boy Doc coming out with Vince. But I'm getting ahead of schedule here. Yeah, it was. It was
teasing
okay.
The audience here. It's a little bit.
Yeah,
that's fine. But yeah, I'm thinking, because I recently watched a WCW pay-per-view from around this time.
Okay.
And this duo seems like a worse version of Tony Schiavone and Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I could think about when I was listening to these guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bob's in there. Like I said, just the white meat. Come on, everybody. Let's get on your feet. It's just funny to see all crusty Bob Holly like that.
Yeah. I wonder where he turned the corner and became more aggressive. I guess maybe with the heel, I don't know. It would make sense that way, but he was, like you said, baby, and it was just white. Well, not baby face, but white
with his mullet.
Yeah, it's just
colorful outfit.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's in there. He's kicking ass. He got some beautiful drop kicks he's throwing out there, clotheslines. But ultimately, Bob Holly goes for a back body drop onto Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but Hunter Hearst Helmsley counters into a pedigree for the win. So Triple H gets a win, remains undefeated, which he is at this point. And it was relatively harmless, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, the future is bright for this kid, so. And hardcore too, or
this young blue chipper.
Yeah.
But yeah, like these first two matches and this third match coming up, it feels like it's just like matches. Like it's just like random. You said it on Twitter. You were like, it's like a bunch of nobodies fighting each other.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a SummerSlam in a lot of ways.
And second, third match in, the crowd is still hot. It's just, I don't know. Maybe they just, I think it's still, I don't know. You tell me. You probably know.
Maybe we're the assholes.
You know more about this, but is it still like believable? Like, is it still like, okay, this is not choreographed, or is it 95 and it's, because it seemed like every punch, every kick, everything was like, oh my God, no way. Like you see, you know, when a fight goes viral, it's like everybody's going nuts at the mall or outside. It kind of seemed like that in 95.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, wrestling was maybe less accessible back then. So like nowadays we can just watch wrestling 24/7 easily. Back then you only had a few slots during the week, and if you missed it, no DVR or anything.
Yeah,
like,
good point.
So maybe wrestling was a little less. It was more of an attraction, I suppose. But speaking of attractions, we got two attractions here. We got the Smoking Guns.
Yeah,
Bart and Billy versus the Blue Brothers.
Yeah,
Eli and Jacob Blue, of course, accompanied by Uncle Zebekiah. Otherwise known as Dutch Mantel, Zeb Coulter, etc., etc. You got the Blue Twins. By any chance, are you familiar with the Blue Twins?
No.
They would go on to shave their heads and become DOA. If you're familiar, they were what's their gimmick? They rode motorcycles like in the late 90s. They're like skinheads. Like one guy was called 8 Ball, and the other guy was Dildo, or I don't remember what their names were, but so they were fine, I guess. And then you have the Smoking Guns, obviously Bart and Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
I'm watching this. I didn't even realize till I was like looking at my notes after. I thought this was a tag title match, but it was not. It was just a random ass tag team match.
Yeah.
The tag team champions at the time are Owen Hart and Yokozuna, and don't know why they're not on the card. I think
something.
So in like the little bit of research I did, so they were a little bit. I do sometimes on once in a blue moon look up some stuff. So British Bulldog and Lex Luger were a team called the Allied Powers, and they were kind of in a feud with Yoko and Owen, the tag team champions. But at this point, Lex Luger actually is not with the WWF, even though he appears later in the show, but that was without a contract.
Yeah.
So Luger's basically on his way out. So they're like in the middle of a feud there. So I guess they just put the kibosh on it, and they're like, you know what, let's put some lower tier guys on it. Allegedly, it's because like house shows were down, so like the payoffs have been small. So it's like, you know, let's get these lower guys on here, give them a pay-per-view payday, and you know, whatever you want to believe. But that could provide some semblance of why this is on the card. But again, the match is fine. There's not a lot of heart to it. It's just a random match. Yes. It's a very standard, like, okay, the heels, they beat on Billy for a little bit. Bart gets the hot tag. He gives the old noggin knocker to the Blue Brothers, and the Smoking Guns, they hit like a side slam leg drop combo for the win. So
which was pretty cool.
It was. That was a very cool move. So the Smoking Guns win.
Yeah.
And but yeah, there was really no consequence or backstory to this, so it's kind of whatever. what you think about it?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be consistent throughout the whole pay-per-view. Wrestling was good. You know, in ring it was good. Like we just said, the ending to this match was cool. I would have popped it, you know, if I was watching it nowadays. I actually did pop. You know, it was a cool finish. Again, seemed like they just threw shit together. Threw it, you know, maybe it sticks, maybe it doesn't. We talked about Hunter Hearst Helmsley. We talked about 1-2-3 Kid, but he already kind of had a name at this point. It seemed like the Smoking Guns, Billy and Bart, were getting some heat, or getting some, you know, they were on the way up. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
I mean, I'm just gonna say that the tag team division was like not. I mean, it's never been a big thing in the WWE, but like as far as tag teams go at this point, the Smoking Guns are at the top, even though they're not the champions.
Yeah.
So, and this is kind of solidifying that, I guess.
Yeah. It seemed like they were gaining momentum. Again, the fans seemed like they really were entertained the way the match ended. It was entertaining. I've always been a Billy Gunn fan. Always. Since day one, since now. I still enjoy watching his sons. I don't know. He's just always been constant. Kind of like this pay-per-view. It's always...
Yeah.
He's always been constant in my life, so I love him. No,
thank you for saying what needed to be said.
Yeah. No, it was a good, decent match. It was entertaining. Again, we'll go back to the commentators. Just odd things Jerry says, and he just gets away with it. And it's just like, dude.
What did he say in this match?
Oh, something about I don't know, but it was odd.
Something about fucking horses or something.
Something about smoking.
I'll give you a gun to smoke.
Something. I'll have to get back to you on the next episode.
Yeah, you have your people. Talk to my people, and we'll figure that out. But the first match with a storyline here is up next. So we got Barry Horowitz.
Yes.
Versus Skip. Yep. No last name, just Skip. With Sonny, the Body Donnas, and eventually would become a tag team. I have to look it up actually because it's gonna bother me. Because Skip, do you know by any chance?
No.
Body Donnas, WWF. Because Skip would end up being in a tag team with Tom Pritchard. Tom Pritchard, really?
Tom.
The brother of Bruce Pritchard, I guess. That's what Wikipedia tells me. Wikipedia would never lie to me. So, but we got Skip here as a solo act, and the whole thing is so Barry Horowitz. He's a well-known jobber in these days. He never won matches.
No,
but he stole a match. I forget, like on Superstars or something. No, Action Zone. He beat Skip. And ended Skippy's winning streak, and very embarrassing. Yeah. So and then they did a whole beat the clock challenge. Skip did on Superstars, and Barry Horowitz lasted the amount of time, so he technically got a second win over Skip. So Skip's like, this piece of shit's beating me.
Yeah,
he's a loser. The third time's a charm. I'm gonna beat this jobber.
Yeah,
and we have first of all, Todd Pettengill, who's a gem.
Yeah, he is, dude.
I gotta add that the sponsor of this show is Stridex, which is like an acne pad, I guess.
Yep.
So Todd Pettengill's like, Skip is looking to Stridex out that one blemish on his record.
Yeah, he had those one-liners all pay-per-view. He did.
Man, when we get to the Isaac Giancam match, we got a lot to talk about, but. And apparently Barry Horowitz, he gets a contract if he wins. So I guess he's working without a contract. So a little bit of stakes involved, a little bit of backstory. But so Skip comes out there. Sonny's yelling at the camera, saying something.
She's in her prime too. Oh, Maron.
Man.
Woo!
Sonny.
Yeah.
Sonny.
What happened?
Nowadays you can pay $20 and get in bed with her.
Yeah.
But man, if I was, because what were we, 95? So I'm only 2 years old, so I didn't have boners yet.
Yeah, I was 5.
Yeah, so you did.
Yeah, I think so.
But so Barry Horowitz, speaking of boners, Barry Horowitz runs to the ring. He has suspenders on, which is a weird choice.
Best jobber look I've ever seen. This guy is muscled. This guy looks like Chris Masters in 2009. I mean, well, maybe not that full extent, but still, he was. When you think of jobbers, you think of Gilbert. You think of guys that, they're okay. They look good. They kind of look like me, just 7 feet taller, and
right.
It was like you said, the suspenders, and I almost thought he was going to hit the opening Titantron thing, that came up throughout the whole entrance. Every entrance, it was like I don't know like how to explain it, but like
it was like a screen.
If you had a show and it, I don't know. Yeah.
Like Austin. Have you seen Austin Powers?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you know the scene where like Austin, he's like behind the screen and he has like a stick and he's like jerking, it's like a silhouette you can see. That's like kind of what the screen that now it's a fucking thing that lives on the internet.
Yeah.
But Barry with his suspenders. The suspenders come off. No. We're thoroughly on it. We got to talk about this guy's suspenders for at least 45 minutes.
Yes.
Even though they only stay on for about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But no, you brought up how Barry Horowitz was like kind of built, and it's funny because Skip, his whole gimmick is that he's a fitness guy. He works out.
Yeah.
But these two guys, and like Barry Horowitz is like a schlubby jobber, at least he's supposed to be. But they have like the same physique.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing here? But so Sonny. So what happens here? So Barry catches Skip by surprise. Like I said, he sprints in the ring, beats him down. He catches him before the bell. Skip eventually gets advantage after he gets suplexed to the outside, which is a pretty brutal bump. But in comes Sonny. She tries to throw in the towel, but the referee, Earl Hebner, says, "This ain't boxing." Even though they literally just did a throw in the towel gimmick at Survivor Series the previous year with Bret Hart and Bob Backlund, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah. Did you cover that one yet?
I did.
Okay,
I did. That was that was something. Is that your favorite show of all time?
Yes. Absolutely.
You a big Bob Backlund guy?
Him and his Darren Young days. Damn, that was good shit. You know what another thing too is? The announcer. Whoever the announcer was. I don't know if it was someone that doesn't do it on a normal occasion, but he was bad. Or she. Was it he or she? I think it was a he.
I think it was. It sounded like Todd Pettengill, but I don't think it was.
Okay, because they didn't announce Barry's name correctly, and Vince said something too.
What'd they say?
Oh, horror shits, horror something.
Horrible wits?
Something.
Huh?
Yeah.
Come on now, folks.
But they do it throughout the whole show. We'll get to that on the next match. But it's just, I don't know, weird That's things like that I catch.
No, yeah. But yeah, the match, it's fine, I guess. Skip's in there. He's doing a lot of jumping jacks amongst all of his punching and stuff. Well, he's a workout guru. You see, the Skip is. Simon you can tell Dean. By the towel. Yeah, it's literally Simon Dean, what this is. But Skip hits a flying headbutt off the top rope,
which was cool.
Barry.
Yeah,
didn't expect that from old Chris Candido here. But he hits the headbutt, has him pinned, but he picks him up at 2.
Yeah.
Very cocky on the part of Skip.
Yeah.
He goes for a pile driver, but Barry Horowitz back drops out of it, and Barry goes to the top. But Sonny shakes the ropes and crotches Barry Horowitz on the top rope, and then Skip follows up with a superplex. And then I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
This match needs more Japs. So out comes Hakushi. And I could say that because I'm a third Asian.
Okay.
So the Japs are here. And just look at my penis. But Hakushi comes out, and because there's a whole thing where if I'm following right, so I think Skip and Hakushi were teaming together on Action Zone, and Skip lost, which made Hakushi lose. So now Hakushi and Skip are at odds here. So Hakushi comes out, him and Skip stare each other down.
Yeah.
Hakushi gets on the apron and springboards over both Skip and Barry Horowitz, which is a fun, really creative way to distract him. Skip turns around and runs right into a small package from Barry Horowitz, and that gives Horowitz the win for the third time in a row over Skip. And I guess Barry Horowitz has a contract with the World Wrestling Federation. So, good stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to watch this match and then go back. I don't know if you listen to JBL's podcast or even Jim Ross's podcast, but they talk so highly of Barry. And I don't know, man. Maybe in his later days, maybe the days that I didn't watch him, but I mean, he looked like a great jobber.
You can be a good jobber.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they talk about.
Yeah.
Reliable guy, maybe a good guy
there
backstage.
You go. I think reliable, yeah. Keyword there.
Him with his suspenders and he had a good mullet though.
Yeah.
You gotta be honest.
Let's get back to Sonny. Holy shit. Damn.
Yeah, she was she's a lovely lady.
Yeah.
She's a lovely lady.
It's a shame.
She's still at it.
Yeah. In jail.
Okay.
Bend over.
Speaking of bending over, we got Dean Douglas backstage, and he's teaching us some vocab. There, Nicholas. Do you know what vivify means?
No, I know vivid entertainment.
That's I don't think this is what he's. Wait, is there a relation? Because vivify, apparently, according to Dean, means to renew with new life or vigor, which I guess can translate into erections, etc.
Okay,
so makes
that
sense.
was kind of
Makes
close.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so Dean Douglas, like we mentioned, he's here to critique the matches. So he's critiquing the previous match. And he has like a TV, like a box TV, and there's like a John Madden style. He could like bring out this pen and like draw circles, which is kind of funny.
It is.
It's 1995. It's this big ass thing with this huge pen. He has to like stick it in the box. But and he says that match was a travesty. He gives the referee an F because remember he's a teacher because his name's Dean.
It was a ref. It wasn't Earl, right? It was Kyoto?
It was Earl. It was Earl.
Okay. I love Kyoto.
Oh yeah, he comes into play later.
Yeah,
in this
that
show.
Was weird.
It was hot, but he gives the referee an F. He gives Barry the grade of S for slacker.
Jesus.
We're all having fun here.
Yeah, but it does show that like the WWE or F, like it's hit and misses. So like they know what they're doing. They're just trying to put everything together. That's what it seems like to me.
Well, it's a new generation.
Yeah. So it just seems like they're trying and they know what they're doing. They have the, again, 95 SummerSlam wasn't amazing, but little bits and pieces we've discussed each match so far. And it's just, there's highs and there's lows. And it just seems like, it's coming, the whatever's next, the future's bright, blah, blah, blah. So yeah. But this again was just weird, just awkward. It was cool with the whole Madden thing, like you said, but it's just like, we don't need a teacher. We don't need this.
Yeah, they're trying new things out, which I can't blame them for because something has to change, and they'll figure it out, like you said, eventually.
Yeah.
But the next match,
here we go.
Got the women's title, the coveted WWF women's title is on the line. We got the champion, Alundra Blaze,
dope ass entrance.
Yeah, she's on fire because her last name's Blaze.
She's born to run, baby.
That's what they say. Versus Bertha Faye, accompanied by Harvey Whippleman. So tell me what you know about this Bertha Faye gal.
Nothing
that's a
at
shame.
all. I mean, she looked like someone that could compete, for the title. And she was, again, we'll go back to it, consistent. The matches were, in-ring match, in-ring. It was good. It was decent. It was okay. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't Taker, HBK at WrestleMania. It wasn't anything like that. But consistently, it was a decent match for every match of this card. Maybe not the main event, but we'll get to that. But what I'm trying to say here is I don't know shit. I don't know anything about her. Let's hear it. What do you got?
No, I mean, I don't got much.
Yeah.
Her Wikipedia is pretty short. But apparently she was kind of a big deal in like Mexico and Japan.
Makes sense. Bigger than life kind of deal,
Yeah, exactly. And
Alundra
Blaze, her and Alundra, Alundra Blaze specifically, I want to because she's like so good. Like she could hang in today's like landscape of women's wrestling because I mean maybe I don't know if this match is the best representation of it, although she did throw out some good like martial arts kicks and high flying stuff. I mean, her matches in this time period with the Bull Nakano are literally some of the best wrestling matches of the entire year for the company. So it's a shame that the women's division was never a thing until much later.
Yeah,
a decade or two later. So
and it looks like Bertha was getting Blaze over as much as like you talk so good about Alundra. It's still good to have someone like she's bigger than life, like we say. She's trying to get her over. She knows what the job is, and she's trying to do it. And I think she did a great job. But you want to talk about Jerry or no?
Please tell me.
Fucking awkward, dude. He was on the borderline of saying outrageous things about Bertha here. And it's just like, even the camera angles, every now and then where it was like an odd camera angle, Maybe it wasn't of her face. It was something else, another body part.
Of her asshole.
Yeah, okay, if we're going to go there, yeah, it was her ass. Yeah. It just, I don't know, it's just like, he's on the borderline. It was very odd, and I didn't like it. I was very uncomfortable.
I'm going to be honest, I expected so much worse.
Yeah.
This match, because he's always calling Alundra Blaze a horse face, always making fun of her nose,
Just
and
awkward.
I didn't really hear any of that in this match. Maybe I missed it.
Yeah.
And Bertha Faye, I mean, you could expect what you can expect, and
Yeah.
he did, have his moments, but to me, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, I guess.
No, exactly. I think he was on the borderline.
Yeah, he's trying to learn,
But it was awkward.
I guess.
It was just like, I don't know, maybe the times, and
that's
maybe
that's just old Jerry. That's old Uncle Jerry for you.
Yeah, that's it right there.
But like you said, Bertha, she was a great foil for Alundra Blaze. I love the spots where like Bertha, she'd just be standing in the middle of the ring, and Blaze would go for like a crossbody and just hit her like a fucking billboard.
Dude, yeah. And
But
Blaze sold it.
The way she sold it was like, it was legitimately like a brick wall.
Yeah. And that's what you do. You try to get each other over.
Yeah, and they made the most of the time they were given. Like I said, there's like Hurricane Rana's being thrown out, like crucifix pins, like way more athletic than you would expect in this time period for women's wrestling.
Yeah, I think like we said, they're getting to the point where it's like the WWF, like it's at its all-time high. So yeah, it's just building. They're just getting there, building blocks.
Exactly. But
guess.
Bertha,
what am I saying?
Bertha eventually, well, kind of, sort of, because
just
like
tell
Bertha,
me to shut up.
Shut the fuck up, Nick. Like, come on, man. But Bertha eventually wins with a power bomb. Wins the women's title.
Yes.
But it's funny because I look more research from your boy.
Dun dun dun.
It was in only like 3 or 4 months we get that famous Medusa shows up at Nitro.
Yeah.
Dumps the title in the trash can. It's only 3 or 4 months after this.
And that's why it's so cool to do this. To go through each pay-per-view, because you just see it and it's like, oh shit, that's a pretty big deal. And throwing, the title in the trash or the belt, I don't know what they call it. But But yeah, it's cool to go back and watch this and understand, like, okay, well,
like, why
did she really need to lose there?
Yeah, I mean, it's less, I think, about her losing and more of just like, there's just no, like, I don't even remember when the last time the title was defended before this.
Okay.
To be honest, it's very few and far between. So it's just like the women's division wasn't really, there was no spotlight on it, even though whenever they were given a spotlight, I mean, like I said, the Bull Nakano matches with the Alundra Blaze and stuff like that, like they're great matches, but there's just no build for anything. So.
And what about you brought him up? What the fuck's his name? Harvey.
Yes. Oh man, that's the whole thing.
Nowadays, the legends talk about him again on their podcast, and it's like, he was amazing. He was great. For me, I don't know. He seemed like a geek that kind of made it into wrestling, and
well, he's trying to get it in with Bertha.
Okay.
I think was the storyline here.
Are you joking, or
that's what commentary told me?
Oh,
was
well,
that
you're gonna believe Jerry the pervert?
The king.
Yeah,
the king would never lie
Jerry.
To me. He's very, very, very insinuating that Harvey's in love with Bertha.
Yeah.
And like Bertha wins, and then Harvey grabs the women's title and gets on his one knee and hands it to her. Like,
yeah. What are your thoughts? What happens next? Well,
I think he gets on top.
We're going there.
And then,
okay.
What were you asking? Sorry, I misjudged you.
What happens? Like, what's 96 look like? What's 97? Like, where is he at?
Shit, fuck if I know. I think he just bounces from person to person, managing.
Yeah.
There's an era where like you'd have managers and they would just like bounce from person to person.
Like Jimmy.
Yes, exactly.
We'll get there. Well, maybe not this pay-per-view, but.
Yeah, I'm not the most educated on Harvey Whippleman, but I'll keep you informed.
Well, that's okay.
I'll keep you updated on his status going forward. But so the next match. Now we get into like the what I would say main event kind of matches. We got a casket match up next.
Yeah.
The Undertaker versus the Supreme Fighting Machine.
The Who train.
I don't know who. There's no hose here.
No.
He's a fighting machine.
And he looks it too. He looks like a bad motherfucker. Yeah.
He would rip my asshole out if he wanted to. So
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want him. I'm not saying I want him to do that.
No.
Anyways, wrestling. So we got so these guys, Taker, Godfather.
Yeah.
This all started at WrestleMania, which was about, I don't know, 5 months before this. Kama interfered in Undertaker's match. He stole his urn and smelted it down into a necklace.
Yeah.
Which he had out there he was wearing. And that was just 5 months ago, and we've been building it up. We've been stretching that shit out. And now we're here. Casket match.
Like your butthole.
Like my butthole?
Well, you said
stretched out. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Connecting the dots. Come on.
You can hear the whistles.
Can you cut this out, please?
Nope. I'm gonna put this in the beginning. So we got, speaking of buttholes, we got 2 of them, and 4 of them because Paul Bearer and Ted DiBiase are out here as well. But the match itself, it's fine. I guess. I don't know. What were your general thoughts on these whole shenanigans?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. I thought it was probably one of the best matches, other than the 1-2-3 kid match. I guess because of the casket. I think that stipulation adds something to the match, makes it interesting. I love these guys. I think that's why too. I love Taker. I love. I'm gonna call him Godfather.
Go for it.
Yeah, the good father. How about that? He looked like a bad motherfucker. He looked like somebody that could compete against Taker, and I guess this is where they were trying to build Taker. I mean, Paul Bearer, give me a little more about him in '95. Do you know? Because it seemed like he wasn't a factor.
I mean, he was with Undertaker. That's really all. I mean, he wasn't really. Eventually he aligns with Mankind. I don't think that's till '96 though. But as far as here, he's just with Paul Bearer. Did have a moment.
Yeah.
There was he did have one moment in this match where he did he ripped his jacket off and was going for Ted DiBiase. It was just fun to see.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that excuse me. I keep trying to call him Godfather, but he came out to Ted DiBiase. That music, that was kind of weird.
Well, yeah, he's a part of the $1 Million Corporation.
Yeah,
faction.
Was this before its time? Because this was surprising, because you see all the matches and they're just pins, submissions, countouts. It's just I don't know, same old thing, just a different way. Mm-hmm. This was holy shit, casket match, Taker.
Yeah, I don't know how many casket matches happened, but because I know there was one with Yokozuna, Survivor SummerSlam '94, I think. No, Survivor Series '94. But before that, I don't know how many casket matches, if any, there were. So this is a pretty new concept.
Yeah.
Dude, the Undertaker, man. I mean, we're fresh off the heels of seeing this dude getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, and we sometimes forget how. I mean, we all know how long he's been doing it, but to see him here in '95, I mean, he's only 5 years into his WWF career, and he's already a veteran. Basically, he's already the Godfather of the roster. And it's crazy how early he is, percentage wise in his career. But the crowd, he was so over with the crowd. I mean, the rest in peace chants, the reactions to everything this dude was doing. And we're only just getting started with this dude.
Yeah, even the entrance. I mean, the music was kind of weird. It was more like an organ entrance. But still,
the
like
classic.
You said, it was popping. People were over. Again, the whole fucking pay-per-view. I don't know why. Maybe they had drugs at they were giving away drugs. But it just seemed I don't know. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah, that Pittsburgh. I think they're in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, they say 80,000 million times.
The Igloo.
Yeah. Jerry, we're in Pittsburgh.
Goddamn pal. But like you said, it's a good match. The casket gets involved. They make good use of the casket.
It was a long match.
It was decently long.
Yeah.
Kama suplexes Taker onto the top of the casket. He goes to pile driver. Taker onto it, but gets backdropped into the ring.
Yeah.
Kama wears on Taker for a little bit. But at one point, both men get knocked into the casket, which the lid closes, so it's they both loose.
But apparently only one person can lose, so they're just fighting in the casket as the lid's closed. Kama starts to crawl out, but Taker has his leg, and he pulls Kama back into the casket. So they're both just brawling in the casket as they're standing inside
Which was
of it.
cool.
And yeah, that was very unique. Yeah. And as they're both standing in it, Kama tries to escape, but
Kamala.
But he escapes, but the lid doesn't close,
No.
so the match isn't over yet. But eventually Kama gets caught with the choke slam, and like the time between the choke slam and the tombstone, like the crowd, you could like, oh no, you just have to go watch it. If people listening, if you haven't watched it in a while, like the rumble, like everybody was like wanting the tombstone, and then Taker does the throat slit, and the crowd just erupts. Like they go bananas for it.
Like in
like
95,
just the simplest stuff. He hits the tombstone, rolls Kama into the casket, slams the lid, and Undertaker gets the win here in a like you said, damn good match.
Yeah. It was 16 minutes. It's crazy that we think it was long. Well, I said it. 16's not that long, but still. Yeah, it was a good match. I appreciated it. I thought it was very entertaining, and I think it was, before its time. I don't think...
For sure.
And the shit that they did on top of the casket, too. I think it was a choke slam or something. It was
a suplex on top of it, maybe some other stuff, yeah.
I just watched it this morning. How do I forget? I don't know.
Well, I watched it 2 hours ago, so I'm more fresh.
Yeah.
Right on time.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Well, while we're talking about The Undertaker, might as well talk about his brother.
Oh, God.
Dr. Isaac Giancam, DDS, versus the Hitman Bret Hart. Man, lots to unpack here. So Bret, for you or anybody unaware, Dr. Isaac Giancam is the dentist of Jerry the King Lawler. And for whatever reason, Jerry Lawler and Bret Hart have been feuding for like 2 fucking years.
Yeah.
And they just recently had a Kiss My Foot match at in your house, I believe, maybe, where Lawler lost, and not only did he kiss Bret's foot, but he kissed his own foot. He was forced to by Bret. And so what do you do when you kiss your own foot?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
How'd that go? Is that what we're calling it now?
What was the question?
Did you get a rib cage removed? But anyways, so we got King, he's recruited as dentist, otherwise known as Kane, for anyone unaware. This is his first pay-per-view match. Actually, I think his first match, really.
Who? Giancam?
That's gotta be Kane.
Oh yeah.
Isaac Giancam, yes. And so Todd Pettengill. Gotta give another shout out to Todd Pettengill.
Do it.
All right. Gotta take a deep breath before this one. So remember, everybody, Dr. Isaac Giancam. Giancam, do you get it? He's a dentist, right? With teeth. So Todd Pettengill calls Isaac a demented tooth fairy. And Jerry the King Lawler has been drilling in the point that he's looking to extract the Hitman from the WWF.
Beautiful.
And he says that Bret, or Todd Pettengill says that Bret is looking to put Isaac and Jerry Lawler under the decayed cavity where they came from.
Shakespeare-esque, man. Shakespeare-esque. Beautiful.
Nick, ask me where Isaac Giancam is from.
Kyle, where is he gone?
Ask me.
He gone. Where is he from?
Decatur, Illinois.
Boom.
Come on now.
Boom.
Folks. He's a dentist.
Let's just say they were trying to get this character over, right?
Did you know he's a dentist?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
D.
DDS. So yeah, so the match is fine. Like Bret is very much carrying
of course, yeah.
this match. Even in the beginning, like you have Giancam, because in hindsight, knowing that this is Kane is just funny to see him in his stupid blue pants and his stupid blonde mullet.
Because he looks like a stud too. I mean, his face. I mean, I get
he's a
why
big
they put
bastard.
the mask on him, but I mean, and as much as we want to say, you know, Bret carried him, I think he put up a good fight too.
He held his own.
Yeah,
for sure. And we said this with the Bob Holly Triple H match earlier. It's You could see the greenness on him, but you can also see the why he would become such a big deal.
But yeah, Bret, dude. Even in '95, when this wasn't a great year for the WWF, dude, he was just phenomenal. Seriously, like, it looked flawless. Even from the entrance to the match to everything about Bret, man. I mean, obviously he's a living legend. He might be a sourpuss, but dude,
no, he's great.
Phenomenal. Seriously.
Question.
I think this was the longest match, wasn't it? That was Shawn and
if not the
Razor.
latter.
Yeah,
they were close though. Are you more of a Bret guy or a Shawn guy?
It's tough because sometimes when I don't know. That's a tough one. It really is. Because Shawn did so much for the industry, and then you look back at it and you say, well, so did Bret. I mean, even 95 when, you know, this was a pretty shitty pay-per-view, let's be honest. Bret performed well, performed really, really good. And HBK's performance, you know, it's just, you know, it is what it is. If it wasn't for the Mania matches against Taker, I would go Bret, but I have to go Michaels here. What about you? Yeah,
so it's interesting because Bret is before my time. So like being able to do this podcast, I've watched, because I started like reviewing this stuff at WrestleMania 10 when he was in his feud with Owen. I've seen all the stuff he's done with, you know, Diesel and Bob Backlund and Hakushi, and like I've gotten a big respect for Bret.
Oh yeah,
in the time I've been doing this pod, like the things, like the simple things he does, like how he lays stuff in, how he bumps, how he punches. Like he's not the most charismatic guy,
no,
but I don't think that's any secret. But at the same time, Shawn is really getting hot at this point too. And when you just factor in the longevity of Shawn and what he would go on to do in like the 2000s, like
what he did for the industry alone, you know, I mean, this is the part where they, you know, change into high flying. I mean, HBK, Shawn Michaels, is that reason, but it's tough. It really is tough. That's a good question. What about you?
I'm probably Shawn. I mean, they're both dicks, so I don't think personal really factors into it.
No.
But
just Google Shawn Mike or Bret Hart shoot. You'll find the reason why he's a dick. But
yeah, for sure. But the match itself, I mean, Isaac. It's funny calling Kane Isaac. Isaac's out there. He's dominating a little bit. He's attacking the mouth of Bret Hart because remember,
yep,
he's a dentist. We get like a Nyla Rose leg drop from Isaac Giancam where he like Bret's draped over the top rope and Giancam comes off the top rope with a leg drop.
Yep.
Which is something I did not expect to see.
Yeah. Again, they're trying new things.
Yeah.
They're getting to that point.
The athleticism is evolving.
There you go.
Is what we're saying. It's a new generation.
You said it.
We got Bret. Speaking of which, Bret hits a suicide dive, which is fun. I always love Bret's. This is kind of what I'm talking about, like getting an appreciation for Bret Hart. Whenever he does a suicide dive, he doesn't just jump and like push the guy like a lot of guys do. He jumps, lands on him, and within like a Fez press and starts like raining down punches. So it's like he's not trying to like do a flashy move. He's trying to he's like so desperate to attack this guy that he's willing to jump like through the ropes to do it, which I love.
It kind of reminded me of DB or BD, whatever you want to call him, Bryan Danielson. Like, it's not just about going through the rope. It's about headbutting him, making sure that he stays down, you know? So I love it. I dig it. Again, Bret, dude, phenomenal match. Even though it wasn't really great for Mr. Dentist, a.k.a. Kane.
Wait, he's a dentist? Oh, yeah, shit, I forgot.
And even Jerry, dude.
Oh,
It's like Jerry from like 2012. It's like, dude, please retire. I love you. I respect you. You just gotta go. You just gotta go. Yeah.
Enough of Jerry Lawler, for the love of God, dude. Like, because like I said, Bret, so he's got the advantage. He has the Russian leg sweep onto Isaac, this classic second rope elbow drop, locks in the sharpshooter. But Jerry Lawler, who was on commentary, gets out from the desk. He helps Isaac get to the ropes. And, Bret Hart's like, oh, what are you doing? What's that all about? So Bret gets out and goes for Jerry. And this allows Isaac to take advantage. Throws Bret into the steps. Throws him back into the ring.
Yeah.
Isaac goes to the top. But Bret throws him off. And Bret hog ties Isaac Giancam to the ring post using like a camera cord or whatever.
Yeah. Unlike Bret.
Yeah, very much so. And the ref is like, we can't let this hullabaloo go on. So he begins to untie Giancam from the ring post. And this, as this is all happening, Bret and Jerry Lawler are going at it on the outside. And as they're going at it, Isaac, his feet are free, goes to the top rope, and from the top to the outside with a huge axe handle.
Yeah.
Like the athleticism from Kane here is, he's very young. So
yeah. And it's funny because I was thinking when he was, climbing up to the top, like, what is he gonna do? And I'm like, yeah, he's gonna do that, just like Miz. Yeah, no 5-star frog splash. He's just gonna jump.
It's fair. We would see that from Kane in the later years too. So, no shooting star pressed into a DDT pile driver. No. So and at this point, Lawler and Giancam just start double teaming Bret. Bret's face gets wrapped. Yeah, fine.
Peace.
But Bret's face gets wrapped into this, like, in between the top and second ropes, and the match is thrown out. It's a DQ because Jerry Lawler is all involved. But Bret's face is wrapped into the ropes, and they're pulling his feet in the opposite direction, which I guess is like trying to attack the mouth. Is that what they were trying to get across here?
So.
Or I guess that was their best way of doing it. It's fine, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much what it all is. But yeah, like I said, better match than I expected, at least.
Yeah, I think so. I really do. Again, we'll go back to it. Bret, doesn't matter what year, dude. I mean, yeah, it does. When he leaves and goes to WCW, that was a shitty year, but this is 95. He's phenomenal. I mean, every step, every move, everything, you know, it's just like, why did he do that? Well, he thought of that. He planned that. This is why he is the best in, whatever. You know the saying. I don't have to say it.
No, what is it? I've never heard it before.
Yeah. He's the best in the world. Oh, no, that's Punk.
You don't know anything about wrestling, do you?
Yeah. But no, it was just...
It is a weird year for Bret because it is a year where he's like very much a mid-card-ish guy, but he's getting like all the new... He's getting Hakushi, he's getting Giancam, he's getting...
Do you think that
Lawler,
was Bret saying, give it to me?
It could have been.
Let me get him over.
It could have been. You also have Diesel as the guy
at
this point, so maybe he's taking a step back because they're both baby faces. So it's just like, put me on a different tier. Speaking of baby faces, we got two of them in this next match. We got the Intercontinental title on the line in a ladder match.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, the champion, versus Razor Ramon. Man, it was I don't want to say it's lucky timing because obviously very unfortunate passing of Scott Hall recently, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before this recording. Super sad, but it was I was very happy to watch this match.
Yeah.
With all that in mind.
Even
were you
the
big
promo too?
Oh, what was his line? Hold on, I typed it out.
I think it was "Hey yo."
Yes.
I don't think it was.
Yes.
I don't think he said it yet. Did he?
I don't think he did. No, he was still Cuban. Here.
Yeah. Tony Montana.
No, he had a good line. Do you remember what it was?
No, come on.
About dancing.
Dancing Queen. No.
Yeah, that was it. So this match.
See ya.
No, Razor. He's backstage with Todd or Doc Hendricks.
Yeah, not Todd.
Razor. He says, "Hey, Shawn, you ready to dance?" Well, Razor leads.
That's dope.
That's actually a fucking cool line. Oh, I think Razor Ramon could literally say anything. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
He'd be
Seriously.
like Shawn.
And that hair was perfect too. Right in the middle.
My pubes are matted.
Curl.
Brother. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But dude, this ladder match. Have you seen the WrestleMania 10 ladder match?
Of course. Come on. Please.
Which one do you think you prefer?
Me here.
I don't, Nathan. Look, you don't know anything about anything.
Yeah. I don't have a wrestling podcast. That wasn't, I'm just an asshole.
You didn't talk to JBL.
No.
Jeff Jarrett. You don't know anything.
No. I thought it was an okay match. It seemed like, the Hardys, Christian, Edge, those guys, Dudley's.
I'm familiar.
Every year or every time they had another ladder match, they tried to do different things. And I feel like that's what they did here. But it just, I don't know, man. It just didn't get over for me. I think maybe because the first ladder match was so, historic. I don't think they knew it was, historic now. But it just seemed like they tried to do different things. They had the thing in the, in the corner. They did a lot of different things, and it just didn't seem like it got over. Again, the crowd loved it. I mean, the crowd fucking ate it. It was like when Stone Cold returned, last weekend. Yeah. They loved it. I don't know why. I mean, I guess because it's, I
mean, these are the two of the biggest stars in the company at this point, so.
Yeah, and they've done this before, so it's like, oh shit, they're doing it again. This is going to be dope. But it just fell short. And then again, Kyle, I'm comparing it to their ladder match they had. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's something we should do.
No, that's very valid. Yeah. I mean, that's the point of comparing the two. So
yeah. But it was okay for a ladder match.
So there's one nuance here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You might be familiar with this. So and a difference between this match and their first match. So this match here. So there was a new violence code put into place by Vince McMahon, and this entailed that you could not use the ladder as a weapon in this match. So if you go back and watch this match, at no point do they hit each other with the ladders, which they did in the first match. So that's a difference. Maybe that adds to the intensity. Maybe that's a very necessary component to a match. But I forgot about that. That's something I heard a long time ago, but I forgot about this watching this match. And I can't say that I really noticed.
Vince didn't go on screen and say, well, we can't do this,
Right. But I mean, they circumvented a little bit. They would put the ladder in the corner and throw it. They could do that. They could at one point Razor, it had the ladder set up and he just let it fall onto Shawn, which I guess is not him using it as a weapon. But at no point could they throw it at each other or hit each other with it. Which maybe to you, maybe that took away from the match, which would be valid, I guess.
Well, that's a good point. Maybe they were trying new things because of that.
Right.
Because
exactly.
I said that. I said it was,
had to be creative.
Yeah, they tried to do things different. They tried to evolve, like the Dudleys, like Christian, every TLC 1, 2, 3, Money in the Bank, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they had to be a little different. And let's be honest, it did fall short, in my opinion.
I mean, I thought it was a very good match.
Yeah.
But to your point, today, if you wanted to have a ladder match, you have an endless catalog of matches to research and watch tapes or whatever and see what spots happened here and there, how many tag team singles.
Yeah.
Here, they had their first match to look at, and it was very new. And with that in mind, I thought it was very good.
Yeah, it's tough to duplicate, and you don't want to duplicate, or replicate. Well, I guess you do. I don't know. They rhyme.
No, neither. Neither you want to do. You're a rapper and you don't even know it.
Prefer a poet. Thank you.
But so my favorite part of this match.
Let's hear it.
Was before the match when the referee
before the match.
So the referee, I don't even know if you caught this. The referee, snapped the belt onto the hook that gets raised up. But the belt was facing down, so you can only see the straps, and you can see how pissed off Shawn Michaels is.
Of course,
he walks over to the timekeeper, whoever, and he's like, "Hey, get them to lower the title down. He didn't hang it upright, so they lower the title back down." Yep. Shawn, he doesn't even let the referee do it. He pushes him away, unsnaps the title, hangs it up so the title is facing the hard camera, and he goes up, and then they raise the title again, which is just
What did Vince say? Do you remember? Did he say
Nothing.
anything at all? No.
No, he completely ignored it.
Yeah, of course.
In the beginning, Razor suplexed Shawn from the apron to the outside. And Shawn, it was just a straight up, like a back bump on the floor, and Shawn's leg hit the barricade, which is brutal.
Oh, yeah.
At one point, Shawn, he goes to climb the ladder in the ring, but his foot like slides in between the rungs, and the ladder topples, and the ladder falls on it. I mean, I don't know how Shawn came out of this without any injuries.
Oh, you're talking about kind of like mistakes. Yeah.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay.
But or mistakes, spots, whatever,
Yeah, they both fell. It was kind of odd. When you look at it now, it's like they were just normal ladders, right? They just went to Home Depot because they were not
orange
sturdy.
ladders.
Yeah, because it just seemed like it was. They kept on climbing up and it was shaking. That was kind of weird. And of course, both fell. And yeah, I don't remember any significant spots where it's like, holy shit. But I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because if you look at it with like today's lenses, like none of the spots in this match are particularly like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But 1995, Shawn's hitting a moonsault off like halfway up the ladder.
Good point.
Onto Razor. You have Shawn going to, because we have that famous spot from their first ladder match where Shawn does the splash off the ladder.
Yeah.
But that's like halfway up the ladder.
Yeah.
But in this match, Shawn goes all the way to the top, goes for the splash, but he misses.
Yeah.
And then a standby ladder gets brought into play, which Vince. So there was like a ladder, like for them to use in the match. And then at one point, Razor pulls out another ladder, which Vince McMahon is wondering if this standby ladder is legal or not, which, like, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Even back then, like, come on, Vince, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
In the ring, Shawn tries to climb the ladder. He gets hit with a Razor's edge. And then we get this. What the fuck was this ending of this match?
It was odd.
Razor climbs one ladder. Shawn climbs the other. He hits like a kind of a sweet chin music from one ladder to the other. And Shawn like leaps for the belt, but misses it.
Misses, yeah.
I'm wondering if that was supposed to be the finish or not. Because Shawn just gets right back up. He puts the ladder back up. He goes up there.
Yeah.
He grabs the belt. He like falls, but the belt doesn't come with him.
No.
So he just falls. And then Shawn has like a temper tantrum. I've never seen this match, so people listening are like, yeah, of course it happened. But this was just hilarious to see. Shawn just is so pissed, so visually pissed, and climbs the ladder for the third time, stands up there and just pulls the belt down. So Shawn wins, gets his revenge off of losing the first ladder match, and Razor and Shawn hug, pyro goes off, and great moment to end the show, right?
Yeah. Why did that happen?
What happened?
Why did they just hug?
Well, they're both baby faces, you see.
Yeah, but still, why don't you just shake my
They
hand?
they respect each other.
Okay, so that's what they do in 95.
They want to get each other's chest hair all tied together and
Yeah, no, but I'm with you on that. It's like I don't think that was intentional. I think maybe the second, because when they go up and that happens, I think that might have been intentional. But then I don't know. Like you said, HBK kind of seemed like he was pissed.
Right.
So that's a good one.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. But so you would think that'd be like a perfect way to end the show. Pyro's going off and everything. But first, we got to get a little more Dean Douglas. He's back to critique that match. Dean is teaching us what bad means, and he's specifying he's not talking about the slang, which means good.
Yeah.
He's saying how it relates to the bad guy. And as he's about to go into this, the bad guy shows up.
Yeah, and he says it 8 times. Bad guy, bad guy, bad guy.
He's got a hammer at home.
Yeah.
He's a teacher. He's a dean.
Yeah.
And Razor interrupts him. And Dean's like, this is a classroom and we don't need any violence here. And then Razor turns to walk away. But Dean pulls him over, tries to throw a punch, but Razor counters him and just knocks the shit out of him, really making him look like a geek right away. Yeah. So can't wait till he wins the Intercontinental title.
Fucking Razor, dude. Clutch. Just
He's
so
a bad
cool,
guy.
so calm, like into his character, like
yeah,
phenomenal. Like you got to go back and watch this, people.
Yeah,
seriously, like he is so fucking good. Even this, even the backstage bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
wow, like
everything he does.
Yeah,
we're not even at NWO yet.
No, not even close.
We got a little gold dust to fight through before we get there, but well, that brings us to the main event.
Dun dun dun.
Got the old WWF title on the line. Got the champion Diesel.
Yeah.
Versus the King of the Ring, King Mabel.
Yep.
Whew. Diesel says he's about to get medieval on Mabel because he's a king.
Oh, baby.
That's funny, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yep. So
did you come up with that?
No, Diesel did.
Oh,
because he said it. Yeah. So the match, I mean, it's kind of a short match.
Yeah. Let's see. Wikipedia says it is 9 minutes. 9 minutes and 14 seconds for the main event. Jesus.
Look, that's 9 minutes too long as far as I'm concerned.
No, seriously. But you know what, Kyle? This kind of reminded me, and I know we're going back to current, well, for me, I'm going back to current wrestling, but this kind of reminded me of Omos versus Lashley. They wanted to see if Mabel could be that guy and still take the L. And he took, well, I don't want to get into it, but.
Please do.
Yeah, I think he did as well as Omos. I think he was able to be in the main event against someone like Kevin Nash, who looked great. He looked like a goddess. You know, he was stacked. He looked great. He looked like
a goddess. He had the long, luscious hair. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Maybe not a goddess.
Yeah, he's probably a solid B cup. Too,
yeah.
So,
but he looked great, and I think the point was, let's see what Mabel can do. You know, let's see what this guy can do. He's the king of the ring. Let's see if he can main event with Nash. And unfortunately, he doesn't. And kind of like Omos, it's like, well, you did what you had to do. You know, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. You know.
It's I mean, the match, it's very short,
of course,
as it should have been. Honestly, like I've never seen this match before.
No.
So I came into it expecting the worst. So it exceeded my expectations. I'll put it that way, which is not saying much. But the only so in the beginning, Mabel, he hits a shoulder block on the Diesel, and he just looks at the camera and yells, "I'm gonna be the first black champion," which is very okay.
Yeah.
A fair point, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was just a funny thing.
Yeah.
That's never that was never a thing that was alluded to in the story or anything. Is okay. But the one spot of this match, and I guess it's a fairly famous spot. So Diesel at this point, he's already kind of riddled with injuries. He just had a surgery on his elbow, I believe.
Yeah.
He's had knee problems, and he came into this match with a back injury. And what did Mabel do to help this out? So the Diesel, he's face down on the mat. Mabel is standing atop him. He just falls down into a seated senton, I guess, onto the lower back of Diesel. Just dead drops onto him, 500 plus pounds, and that couldn't have been very pleasant. Have you ever had a 500-pound man fall on your lower back?
No,
there's still time. Yeah. But that was brutal. You could even see Diesel was kind of pissed about that.
What the fuck?
But he's got control of this match.
Yeah, it's 9 minutes.
But they fit a lot into it because you get a ref bump.
Yeah.
To Mabel, he runs into Earl Hebner, I believe.
What's his face, Mo?
Yeah, of course, Mo's here. They start double teaming on Diesel. But who's here to make the save? None other than Lex Luger, who, like I mentioned, he's not even with the company at this point technically, but he's here just to kind of, I don't know, for a one-off.
Yeah.
He'll be debuting on Nitro in a matter of weeks.
Isn't
so
that
that's
crazy?
fun.
Yeah.
It's insane. But there's a whole thing where like, because Luger and Bulldog, like I mentioned, were teaming. British Bulldog a few weeks ago on Raw turned heel and turned on Diesel, attacked him. So Diesel doesn't know how to feel about Lex Luger. So when Luger gets in there, he's like here to make the save, but Diesel just clocks Luger and throws him out. But eventually Luger takes out Mo. They fight to the back. In the ring, you get so Mabel hits a belly-to-belly suplex for a 2 count. Goes to the second rope for a splash, but he misses it. And then Diesel goes up to the second rope, hits a clothesline for the win. Amazing this dude isn't paralyzed after that leg drop earlier. But Diesel gets the win here, retains his title, and Mabel is pretty much gone after this. So, yeah, I don't know. What else did you think about this?
Yeah. I mean, I'll go back to what I said with the Omos-Lashley match. I think Mabel, put up. I don't know why he disappears. Maybe it's kind of like Omos, like, where is he? He wasn't even on Monday night.
He injured Diesel here, and then he would go on to injure Undertaker very soon after this.
See, I don't know. Yeah.
The Phantom Taker, where he has like the mask.
Oh, yes. That
was due to Mabel. Yep.
He legit injured Nash here?
I mean, I don't know.
Diesel.
Like,
sorry. Let me get back into
whatever.
character. Diesel, damn it.
I don't know what the extent of the injury is, but he roughed him up for sure.
Okay.
So.
I don't know.
I mean, you lose in a main event. Like,
Yeah.
where else do you go? I don't know. But
yeah.
the King gimmick, I guess, wasn't getting over with the folks.
Again, 9 minutes. What can you do with that? I mean, rush. Maybe that's what happened. I mean, Mabel, Viscera, Big Daddy V, certified Hall of Famer in my opinion.
Visagra.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too. Again, consistently throughout the whole pay-per-view, it was an okay match, right? Like for a big guy to work with Diesel, I thought it was a decent match.
It was better than it had any right being, I think.
There you go.
But that's how we close the show. Diesel as
I'm
champion.
out of here. Peace. No.
Goodbye. But yeah, any other thoughts? I mean, that brings SummerSlam 95 to a close. I mean, I personally walked into this show with a very low bar, and I think it exceeded it.
How exceeded? Like what?
Exceeded my low bar that I set.
Well, what was the low bar and where did it go from there?
Look, Diesel.
How far up? I'm asking.
5 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
My feet. Why not inches?
Because that's how many.
That's big.
It was. Yeah, it's very big.
5
very
inches.
big. That's what I tell myself. 5 inches is huge. Okay, everybody.
Well, like I said, I was watching this during work today, and 96 comes on, and guess who enters first? Owen Hart. So I guess it's like they're getting to, like I said, the process. They're getting to the place where, WWE is incredible. But here, it just seemed like a lot of jobbers. Okay.
It's a new generation.
Well, you keep on saying that, but what does that mean? For some people like me. I was 5 years old here. Well, then again, you were 2, but.
Well, the generation before this, it was old, right?
Old as in
this
what?
generation, like age.
Okay.
Like Hulk Hogan, Iron Sheik, Andre the Giant. I mean, they're old, right?
Yeah.
This generation
was new.
It's new generation. So, does that help? Does that clarify?
And how long was that? How long did that last? The new generation.
So probably WrestleMania 94, I would say, is the start of it. Okay. And then it would go until Attitude Era, which, I don't know. When was that famous Vince McMahon promo? Was that 97? Let's say 3.5 years.
97.
It was like, you want more
because Taker threw Mankind off the Hell in a Cell in 98, and that kind of like started
I would say 97, yeah. 96 is definitely like the ramp up to it.
Okay.
Because you get like the debuts of Stone Cold and The Rock and stuff like that. Mankind.
Yeah.
It's a new generation, is what we're trying to say here.
Yeah. I thought it was a kind of like No Way Out. What was that, 2002? The last. When did NWO debut? That's when I came on last.
Man. Hey, man, you got Kevin Nash in both shows we've done.
There you go. I thought it was a decent pay-per-view. I thought the wrestling in ring, backstage, no. Commentary, no.
Doc Hendricks? You didn't like Doc Hendricks?
No.
Give me the scoop. Give me the scoop. Give me. This fucking asshole.
In ring was good. Even
it was.
Every match. I mean, okay, maybe not every match. Maybe not
the main event?
Main event, yeah, 9 minutes. Well, what can you do with that?
Yeah.
Taker was good. Bret was good. Shawn was good. Smoking Guns. Triple H. Well, Hunter Hearst, Helmsley. 1, 2, 3. Again, I understand why the crowd was popping. Seriously. And that's another thing to look at. Like, why? But I guess it was cool. It was.
Yeah.
It was wrestling in '95. Pretty dope. It was different.
Yeah. It's a new generation.
You keep saying that. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a phrase that's very like universal. But speaking of universal,
there you go. Best segue of the night.
Come on now. The Universal Wrestling Podcast.
Yes, sir.
First of all, Nick, thank you so much for checking out the show, coming on.
Absolutely.
Talking a little.
It's been a long
WWF.
time.
It's been too long.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
We talk a lot on Messenger.
Yeah,
DMs. You always DM me, but
sending each other nudes and all that. So good to see your face.
Yeah, we're both, wearing black.
Yeah, you got the memo.
But cheers to you, brother. When you get married? When is it?
Sometime. 11/11/22.
Oh, 11/11.
Isn't that adorable?
Idea?
It was the date that was available. I'm gonna be honest. We set the date in like early 2021, and they were already booked out like almost 2 years.
Oh yeah.
So
it was
COVID, etc.
Yep.
Everyone's getting married. We got 7 weddings this year. It's gonna be a chore.
That was me last year. Swear to God, 7 weddings. I'm fucking still in debt.
Yeah.
Good luck.
No, I bet.
I was in 6 of the 7 weddings as well. So
go on, everybody. Let's start a Patreon. Let's do a GoFundMe so I can.
All right, back to Universal. My bad.
Get enough shoes to go to these weddings. But yeah, the weddings are also Universal. Speaking of Universal, Universal Wrestling Podcast. Where can everybody find you and check you out?
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at the UW Pod and Instagram at UW Podcast. YouTube, I've been behind the times. I am finally on YouTube. Check us out. Just interviewed JBL, Jeff Jarrett next week. A lot of good things happening. A lot of fun things. It's really fun, man. So cheers to podcasting. You can find us on uwpod.com as well.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you're a good dude. Thanks for having me on, man. Really do appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
Always a good time.
Still waiting for that wedding invite.
Oh yeah, that's Once again, thank you to Nick from the Universal Wrestling Podcast for joining me on this heat wave of a show, SummerSlam 95. And man, oh man, what a journey. Always a good time with Nick. Always have a ball with him. And go check out his podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, all that info in the description below. All my info in the description below as well. Apronbump.com for all my full episodes. Get the merch, get your, leave a review, leave a rating, give me a kiss on the cheek, whatever you feel is necessary. And yeah. That's about all, folks. My Bugs Bunny in this bitch. That's all Daddy has for you today. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you all. You're all the Shinja to my Hakushi. You're the Harvey Whippleman to my Bertha Faye. That sexy bitch. I'm hard.
Yeah.
It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing I can.